Hello, everyone. I am God Jr., the Gamma Indigo Child. In today's lesson, we're gonna learn about the truth about Easter. I know some people thinking, "What you mean the truth is when Jesus resurrected, he came back to life, and then you got some people that's like, man, it's about the Easter Bunny." And then you got some people that know a little knowledge that says it's about Ishtar, the sex goddess or whatever. So I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna keep it like I always. I'm gonna keep it as simple and straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? And because there's so much that could be said, so I'm just gonna break it down to the simplest points, so it would leave discussions for later and other posts that I could use to continue this knowledge further. So let's just start off with this: Jesus' resurrection. Like I said before, all these ancient teachings are real life knowledge. It's the original blueprint of surviving in this living library. And if you know anything about any of my other posts, this living library is basically a place where we come to learn how to evolve, you know what I'm saying, to ascend, to go higher in dimensions, and to basically to becoming on God's level. So basically, like I said, these ancient teachings was basically to teach you how to live. Like in one of my other posts, I talk about how winter is coming was an actual phrase used by ancient people, because if you didn't understand that winter was coming, like I said, imagine not having a house or not having heat or anything to, stay warm with. When you hear the phrase "winter's coming," that's a nerve-wracking thing, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, whoa, winter's coming. Oh man, are you prepared? Did you stock up on your furs? Did you stock up on your food? Did you do anything you needed to do to prepare for winter? So you got to remember, that's one of the blueprints of this planet. It's just that people are just so spoiled that they don't realize that they have heat and all these creations that man made to, to handle what the ancient people had to actually go through. So, you know what I mean? So let's get this started. If you know anything about why Easter falls on the day that it falls on, it's because Easter always come on the first Sunday after the full moon, after the sun passed over the equator. You see what I mean? Pass over, when the sun passed over the equator, just like when it passed back over the equator, they call that fall. It's fall beneath the equator, which is fall, autumn, and then it passes over the equator, which is spring. So one is coming up and one is going down. So it's a blueprint of the planet, right? So Easter, the original thing of Easter, celebration of Easter, was the celebration of spring. And if people think, oh, they was worshiping spring and all, to this day, like today is Easter, and I'm doing this, and everyone, without even understanding, you naturally have an appreciation for certain seasons. Just like to hear that spring is coming, or to come outside and it's nice, everybody gets so excited, and it's an inner celebration of, oh my God, it's spring, it's warming up. Without even saying it out loud, you know you feel that. Just like when summer hit, you feel a different type of way. You're like, oh, it's summer. It's an inner appreciation. It's just naturally, you just naturally feel these emotions just noticing that it's spring or just noticing that it's summer. And then you get a kind of when fall comes, because you know fall leads to winter. And when winter hits, you got another, it's winter. You're not so appreciative of winter. So just imagine not having a house with heat in it. And winter came. So back to the teaching. So, okay, so it Easter never falls on the same day. That's how you know that it cannot be Jesus' resurrection. And we all know who this symbol Jesus is. It's the sun. And these excuse me, you had two different types of people on the planet. You got the ones, it was more than just two, but I'm just gonna name two different types of people. That one of them was the solar people, and then you had the lunar people. Just like the Christmas is a solar celebration because it's celebrating the day that the sun rises one notch back up towards going back towards the northern hemisphere. And then you got Easter, which is a lunar celebration. That's why they wait on the full moon to celebrate it, because it's a lunar moon celebration. So you had the lunar cult people, and just so you know, all these people need to realize that this is a blueprint for spring. That's for basically, if we take away all these names, Easter, whatever you want to call these celebrations, all that really, the original celebration was the celebration of the sun coming back up to the northern hemisphere and bringing spring, what we call spring, back to the northern hemisphere. That was a big thing to people that, let's say, you running low on food now, so spring is here. Oh man, it's time to get back to planting and getting our food back together. You know, it was an exciting time. So we're gonna keep it moving. So you gotta think about this. So Easter in 2020, Easter was April the 12th, right? And 2021, Easter landed on April the 4th. On 2022, Easter landed on April 17th. On 2023, which is today, is April the 9th. And in 2024, Easter going to be on March the 31st. You see how it keep changing? So this lets you know this couldn't be the resurrection of their little. I'm not gonna disrespect them, what people believe in, but this is the supposed resurrection of Jesus, and it can't be the resurrection of Jesus because the day keep changing. So it's basically like I was explaining to you, it's basically the sun coming back up passing over the equator. Like I was saying, that's what the Passover mean. They used to celebrate the Passover on the 14th or whatever day, and the Christians celebrated theirs the same day, and they had to change it because they didn't want to be the same as everybody. So they wanted theirs to be different so they could claim it as their own, when in reality all they claiming is the sun coming back over the equator, bringing spring to the northern hemisphere. Just like Christmas, the sun coming back one notch up. If you understand what I mean. Just like the beginning of summer. The beginning of the summer is the day that the sun is on his way back down. Like, it's a lot of things that people need to understand, that this is a blueprint on how to work this planet, you know? A lot of these, what we call celebrations and holidays and all they is, I ain't gonna say it like that, but their importance is really important to understand. Because if we didn't have like the government and whoever that's keeping up with the calendar and keeping up with what day it is and what season it is, a lot of people will be lost and a lot of people will be dead because they wouldn't know how to keep up with the seasons and when to plant and when to hunt and when to collect clothing and when to get their house stormproof. You know, it's just like us today. In the wintertime, we bring out our winter blankets. In the spring and summer, we put away the winter blankets. You know, it's just a new society, and we handling it. We handling the seasons the same way. We just got different tools and environments to work with now. They had to work with outside and trying to find heat and fire and everything that they could use to stay warm, and now we deal with it with a heated house. So let's get back to this Easter truth. Okay, now everybody always asks, where did the Easter bunny come from? Well, you know, the bunny always been a part of sex as a symbol back in ancient times. They even carved this in stone. It's just something that, you know, the Christians adapted. All these people that, you know, how things go. When people celebrate something around the same time, it end up getting blended in with each other, and half the time people don't even know what they celebrate no more because everything's so blended now. It seems like you still celebrating yours, but they're celebrating their idea and someone else is celebrating their idea. So we got all these ideas mixed in together. You know, just like like for the ancients, drawing a bird for something that's like for the UFOs or unidentified objects or whatever, they would use a bird to represent something that fly in the air, because that's the best way that they could describe it. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't have those, they wasn't using words then. They were just using images to translate what they see, you know. But then you got another story I'm going to tell you about. It's the Orpheus Greeks. They used to have a festival. One of their festivals was the girls paint themselves all these different colors, and then they go hide in the woods, and then the men of the town go find them, and wherever they find them at, they get to have sex with them. And majority of the time, you know, some people didn't get sex, so, you know, the sadness of not being able to participate in these festivals, a lot of them got chocolate, you know, and they ate chocolate because they didn't get, you know, sex, you know. So that was like one of the things that they did. And the egg is one of those stories. There's so many different stories that you could get this egg at, because like Nema, the one that gave birth to the first Adamo, whatever you want to call it, she gave birth. She took the egg out of a Homo erectus and put it inside her, and she held it in her for like 10 months. So it was like from spring to the next spring, and then she gave birth to the first Adam. You know, like the Adam and Eve story, or you know, the Adapa is what it was called, and that's the egg right there that they talk about, because of that egg and spring that was used to create people the egg became a spring celebration. You know what I'm saying? Part of the spring celebration. And then, people that don't know what they doing, they just start putting things together that they heard or whatever. Now you got a rabbit laying eggs. So you see what I mean? How things get mixed up, and people start celebrating too many things at once, and they all get blended into just one thing. And now everybody's celebrating different things because of the one thing that they believe in, when the other ones are, only taking their part of the story and celebrating that piece for their community or their beliefs. The true meaning is not pagan, because you know how people say, oh, that's some pagan stuff. Pagans knew about all these seasons and what they meant, and when to plant, when winter was coming back, when fall was coming. They knew all this. And people made fun of them, and they called them April Fools. That's what the April Fool came in. That's going to be another post, but they called people that celebrated Easter. Celebrated basically spring. They called them April Fools. You know how people look down on people. And that's how that came upon too. From the spring. That's why it's all in that little couple months, March and April. You know what I'm saying? All these festivals dealing with spring. So yeah. It's a lot of different, there's a lot more stories that I could tell you about, but we'll say that for next time. But I do want to say, so now that we understand what the true meaning of Easter really is, Easter is Eastern Star Sunrise Service. Short, Easter. And the meaning of Easter and all these little celebrations that they all celebrating is spring. The sun coming back up from winter and bringing the sun back to the northern hemisphere for spring. And that is the original meaning of Easter. Love to all, and to all, spread the light.